All right, JT, I'm going to show you how to make kombucha. So I'm going to start with the tea, and then I've already got a batch mixed up here, so I'm just going to show you how you do it from the beginning. All right, man. So this is the easy part. I'm going to move the camera over here. Down here, start with some tea. Got some black tea right there. Pew, pew. 4 tablespoons. Do this quick. I'm going to do this in my French press. Makes it really easy. 4 heaping tablespoons. I'm not too careful about it. 4 big ones. Just going to make some good strong tea because I'm making about a little over a gallon. Load this thing up. Boop, boop. Here we go. Good. I'm going to stir it up a little bit. Bam. They're all nice and juiced up in there. Boom. 20-minute timer. All right, 20 minutes starting now. All right, now, okay, so that'll go for about 20 minutes, and then I'm not going to show you, but I'll talk you through it. So what I'm going to do,
starting now.
Then what I'll do is I'll pour it in here. You can see that. So I'll pour it in here with a cup of sugar, about a cup. It doesn't have to be perfect. Make sure it's all dissolved, and then I'll top it up to about here with, what's that water? Not sterilized water, but purified water, or just whatever, clean water, not out of your tap. Filtered water. Filtered water would be fine. Okay, clean hands. Let me show you what, so this has been sitting in my cabinet at room temperature for about, I think, 10 or 11 days with a cloth and a rubber band over the top. And this is what is called a scoby hotel. So there's a scoby in there with a bunch of kombucha concentrated tea in there. This is where you store your extra scobies. So this, I'm gonna open that up because I'm gonna put my scoby in there. So here's my scoby, boop, look at that. One big chunk of good gelatinous love right there. And you can see it's kind of coming in layers, so I can peel that off if I want to, because I may not use this whole scoby in my next batch. So I'm gonna put this in my scoby hotel, let it hang out there. I'm also gonna pour some of this, clean spoon, let me get some of the good juice off the bottom, because all this, technically everything in this jar is a scoby. So this whole thing is full of a symbiotic culture or community of bacteria and yeast, scoby. Okay, so I've got, this is like a gallon and a quarter is what I've been using. So I'm gonna give some of this in here. I'm actually gonna use some of that juice in there as a starter for the next one. So I'm gonna take probably a cup per half gallon or so. It's nothing, it doesn't have to be precise, but about a cup for the next batch. And I've been making my kombucha in this thing. A lot of people make them in these things. It's to make individual things, but what I do is I drink a lot of it, and I'll go through one of these in about 3 or 4 days. So instead of doing this, I just make big batches. It's just a lot easier to do. I don't need to clean as many things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this into here with whatever flavor I want. So if you want to do, like I was doing dried hibiscus, I was doing any kind of fruit. If you're using fruit, you don't need to add sugar. If you're just doing herbs, you might want to add sugar for what we call the second fermentation, which is where, once I'll do this, I'll show you, I'm going to put fruit juice in here. So this time I'm going to do like 50-50 strawberry and banana. Just because I had it around, I'm going to give it a try. And that's plenty of sugar to create CO2 to make it carbonated and to add the flavor. And it'll take about 2 days of carbonation before I put it in the refrigerator, all this stuff in the refrigerator. So let's do that now. So, boom, I'm gonna start with the fruit. Should almost be enough. I got one of these because I think I'm gonna have some extra. So I'm doing about a cup. Here's my blender. I'm doing about 3/4 of a cup to a cup. I think 3/4 of a cup is probably gonna be plenty, because this time I don't think I'm gonna fill these, what do you call these? These are, you know, use them for beer and stuff like that. I don't think I'm gonna fill these all the way up this time, because it gets so carbonated that I lose a lot when I open it, because it just foams over. It's just so crazy that it's got so much carbonation in there. So that's a function of either you're leaving it out on the counter too long to carbonate up. So this is gonna be about a 1/2 cup in here to get too much carbonation, or you put too much sugar in there. So if you put a lot of sugar in there, then you probably only need it on the counter for, I don't know, for a day. That could do it. So you just kind of play with it, with how much sugar you put in there, how much flavoring you put in there. You know, I haven't figured it out. I've got about 7 or 8 different recipes, and I'm gonna send those recipes to you. And you can do that. So here we go. So now we're just gonna top these off. Only problem with these dark bottles is I don't know if I'm full. So, but I'll get close with the sun. Oh, by the way, the scoby does not like sunlight. So we try to keep it out of the sun. I'm not too concerned about it. Oh, by the way, these bottles, I washed them, but I didn't like purify them or sterilize them. And what I figure is this kombucha already has alcohol and vinegar in it. And I drink it within, you know, 5 to 7 days of making it. So I'm just not worried about a whole lot of bacteria forming or anything crazy in these jars, because I'm just gonna drink it anyway, fairly quickly. And so it just doesn't have time to really kind of get messed up. So, okay, I think we're still good, we're good. So I'll top these off. I can tell this one's almost full. That one's good. Yeah, maybe a little too full. That's all right. It'll be fine once that foam goes down. So I'll let that foam go down. And I can actually use this for my next scoby. I think I'll just fill this one up and maybe put some herbs in it just to top it all off. All right, got some good juice in there. Well, that's good. Okay, I've got a big batch. All right, so this is all good. I'm gonna top that. I'm gonna top both of these, all of these off, and leave them out for a good 2 days. So today's Friday. By Sunday afternoon, I'm going to probably put them all in the refrigerator to stop all the carbonation. And then I might just open one, just start drinking one over ice. All right, what else? Okay, so next step, after I top these, so now we go back to making the kombucha. So what I'm gonna do with this, I'll rinse it out. Again, I'm not too worried about, I'm gonna get some of this junk on it. I'm not too worried about too much dirt or bacteria in here, because it's already got bacteria in there from the scoby. So I'm gonna rinse it out. I'm gonna put in the hot tea, sugar, top it off with sterilized water or whatever I said it was. Maybe to about there, because you gotta make room for the scoby thing to put in there, plus about a cup, maybe 2 cups of starter. And then you wanna bring that up to the top. But you don't wanna add the scoby and that juice until this is somewhere between 65 and 85 degrees. 75 degrees, room temperature is good. Otherwise, you'll kill the scoby if the tea is too hot. So I'll put it in here, let it cool down. Later tonight sometime, I'll add the scoby, add some juice, 2 cups of juice, put a lid on it, put it in my cabinet, and not do anything with it for about 10 days. That's kombucha. Hey, we're on the tea making. So this is kind of the first part, or the last part, depending on where you are in the process. So this thing is about, I'm gonna say that's 1.25 gallons. Found this awesome, it's a big mason jar. I found it at, I don't know, TJ Maxx. Purified water, cup of sugar. Tea, baby, tea, 20 minutes. steeping like a good tea should. Real easy stuff. And you use purified water, so anything that's been in this tea, right, has been boiled out. Any bacteria or whatever is probably dead by now. After boiling, then sitting in this hot tea stuff. So that's good. Now I'll pour a little of this purified water in there just because I want to get some more of that tea goodness out of there. Slosh it around. Press it down. Press down, shake them together, run it over. See what I did there? See what I did there? All right. Boom, boom, boom. Just like in beer or wine, you know, I'm not too concerned about making sure this dissolves because the yeast is going to eat up the sugar, whether it's dissolved or not. So not too worried about that. But I'm going to dissolve it up anyway. So that's pretty hot. Good, clean, purified water so it doesn't kill the bacteria and yeast when we get there. So I'm going to stop it right about there. That would give me enough room for that scoby to go in there, and then another 2 cups of starter. And then once I do that, what they say is when you put your scoby in there, that gelatinous thing, then you pour the scoby juice on top of it. I don't know why. I think just kind of getting it all in there. But I'm going to let this get to room temperature, so I'm going to let it sit up for about 3 hours with this cloth over it. So the reason we're using the cloth top is, one, to keep the bugs out and to let the CO2, keep bugs out and let the CO2 out while it's going through its first fermentation. So again, after this, room temperature, put the gelatinous goo in there, 1 or 2 cups of the starter, put the lid on it, put your SCOBY hotel in the closet, put this thing in a dark, relatively warm place, you know, not cold, because you want that stuff to, want the bacteria and the yeast to come alive and eat up the sugar and turn this into kombucha. All right, there you go. That's the whole deal right there. See you.